Good morning, guys. I just finished deadheading on my daylilies and realized all, if except a few, are in bloom, and now's the day to take a look at them. And we'll talk a little bit about the daylily, or the hemerocallis daylily. And you know what? Hemerocallis is Greek for hemeros, which means beauty, and callis, which means day. And they're beautiful for a day. When we go walking through the garden this morning, you can see some of their scapes or stems have, 3 buds or 6 buds, and they've been blooming now for about a week. But the one thing that I love about these beautiful flowers is when I get to walk through and deadhead them and see who's in bloom, who's not. Um, and sometimes you just buy them when you're out looking, if you're fortunate to have a daylily farm. And I'll get up and get moving here because, for example, let's take a look at these daylilies that I have. I've been gathering them for 50 years, Reg. I mean, and everyone out there. I started out in a garden that was about an
Well, I
acre.
thought you were just talking to me.
I felt like I was just talking to you, but I'm talking to everybody out there. Because, for example, they're daylilies, they're good through zones 3 through 9. They can tolerate heat. They don't have a lot of pest or disease, except one big pest. And when we get down there, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
You mean the four-legged
The
pest?
four-legged pests. But they come from 6 feet tall to the small ones, which my mini ones aren't in bloom yet. But they're a wonderful little plant if this is your kind of plant. And I got hooked on these. Like I said, my first garden was large in my community. I call these my Jackson's Mill Yellow because they came from the state 4-H camp in Jackson's Mill, West Virginia, where my first garden was started. And I had quite a large garden compared to this. So I had a daylily raised beds and throughout the garden. But these were given to me from one of the workers at the state farm. At the state 4-H camp. And he dug a start of these for me. And they've been with me. And so they've been down at the state 4-H camp longer than probably I've been on this earth. And they're still down there, but they're not as well tended as they were years ago when I first moved down there. I don't think they hired gardeners in the camp. It still looks pretty. But the variegated one is also from Jackson's Mill. What I like about it, when it is done blooming, it'll dry and it will fall off and deadhead itself. It looks a little trashy, which I've cleaned off, but these have great memories for me, and I think it's perfect for this landscape here. This variety I do divide my daylily on this little slope about every 4 to 5 years. They have now hybridized daylilies to where they stay more clump forming. I don't feel they're invasive. You control them, but I haven't had to divide most of the other varieties I've purchased from, lucky enough, the daylily farms that we've had here in West Virginia, at least close to us. I was looking up this morning, there isn't another one in West Virginia, but the two we had, one over in French Creek, whose name I can't remember, and then the Price Bean daylily farm outside of Sutton or Somersville. Sutton.
Sutton.
It was gorgeous. Their property was beautiful.
Beautiful people.
Beautiful people, Judy Bean. But we'll just walk through the garden and I'll tell you a little more. I've already said their zones are good. When you get them, they just require good draining soil, a little compost. I don't fertilize mine except in the spring. I'll throw compost on mine. And what you're looking for is what you see in your garden. For me, from my perspective, I always wanted the bright colors, the taller ones so I could see them. I started out with those. And then, you meet other gardeners that give you their daylilies. This is Strawberry Candy. What I love about it, when you buy your daylilies, these are called the scapes or the stems. And you want to look at the buds. These have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 6, 7, 8. They had 8 buds per stem. So, and they don't all bloom at the same time on the same plant. So this can go at least 2 weeks, this one plant. You can see, like on these Jackson's Mill Yellow, this only has 3 buds. This is an old variety. So what's happened with hybridizing, they keep improving the daylilies to have more buds, stay more compact, gorgeous colors. And sometimes when I was buying my daylilies, um, not only do I like the orange and yellow, but there are purples, which I love. And Reg, over here is one of my favorite purples called Struthers Ball. Not only is it a beautiful color with the chartreuse center, the deep purples, but it has lots of buds too. You know, as I learned from going through uh, the Daylily farm, you know, Judy would explain to me, you know, this is a good one. You know, this is what you look for. When you go to your garden centers, not all nurseries or garden centers have these wonderful colors to choose from and the different sizes and shapes. And the daylilies, they can bloom early, mid, and late. And my earliest one in my garden happens to be the Jackson's Mill Yellow starts first, and then I have a Heaven All Day. We'll get over there to that. Um, these are pretty much mid to late, and then my late ones, you can see they're, you know, they've got their heads that are up. And I call this one a Reggie's Brown-Eyed Girl because
Couldn't
I couldn't
remember the
remember
name.
the name,
But
couldn't
look at
find the
all the
look.
buds on that
Yeah,
thing.
look at all the scapes, look at all the buds. And I've never divided this, and I don't know how long I've had this one, but this is Reggie's Brown-Eyed Girl. And another one to bloom, it's called Salome Ethel Smith, and it stays small. So you can see this really tiny. I'll put a picture on the screen of how beautiful it is. It's a little later bloomer, stays compact.
Look at the difference between that bud size
Yeah,
and
I mean,
that
it's
bud
just
size. It's
they're
so
so different, and it's
different.
just very interesting to see what you have. The other thing you have with daylilies is that um, the heat of this. If you'll notice in my garden, you'll see this brown. Uh, you'll see some yellowing of the leaves. It's because of the heat. Even though they want full sun, when we start having yesterday, it was 101 degrees. At what time? They said outside we were going to church, 6 o'clock,
6 o'clock.
something like that. You know, that's hard on every plant. And they normally don't need to be watered. I seldom water them, but I did get out yesterday morning and I watered all my all my gardens because of the heat. So they're really an easy to manage plant. The other thing that I like is once they're full blooming, and I go through normally. I would have gone through this morning, but I didn't. And I'll just pull out the dead from the stress, clean it up, and then when they're through blooming, they still have some nice green foliage, which I like. To divide them, it's not hard. You just dig the clump up, and you can cut it in fourths, six. Just make certain you have at least 2 to 3 fans. By fans, they mean this look. This is probably not the best example, but here's a fan, there's a fan. You'll know when you close into it what the fans look like, and that'll give you a better display of flowers. The other,
We almost had something to add to our blooper
I
reel.
know oh wait, here's the crocosmia. If you watched my Welcome to Summer, this was getting ready to bloom, and oh my, this is absolutely stunning, Reg. Isn't this gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. In the background here, I love how high it gets.
Really tall.
It's really tall, and it will bloom through the heat of the summer. When you're looking at your daylilies too, I had to point that out. There are subtle differences. For example, right here in front of me is Piano Man, and the ruffled edges,
I
the
love
cream,
that. I like
deep
that.
purple chartreuse, and it pops from the deck. And you can see the comparison when we get up front there. But I have favorites, and I'm going to show them because we're talking about them. This is called New Series, and this was one of
This one's called what?
New Series. This was one of Judy's hybridized ones, and isn't it a gorgeous one? This is the beginning of, this is your ditch lily. You know, this came from Reggie's dad. I have it as a memory to him, and I just like knowing this is what I grew up with, seeing all over the
You still
farmland, countryside.
roadside,
Yeah.
everywhere.
And you know, this is Rouge Blush, which it looks similar to a ditch lily, but it has these
Gorgeous edges.
gorgeous edges, creams. Oh, if you could get to a Daylily farm, um, you go around there, Reg, and I'm going to traipse through the garden because I want to show them. This is Canadian Border Patrol. And you're thinking, well, we just looked at that. It looks like Piano Man.
No, it's different.
This is a yellow color, creamier, smaller head. Look at this definition of the purple around the edges. Just amazing. Plus, look at this one. This is Pale Face. Oh, my word. Oh, my. I'm going to pick this one because...
No, I can get in there.
Can you get in there? Another one of Judy's hybrids. Pale Face. I love it. The gift to me that I'll never forget is my dear friend, gosh, I've got a bug in my throat, Bergen Bandy. She gave me Spidey Man, which is right here. And he starts early, blooms. But back here, and not only do I love the name of this one, but look at this fantastic color against the purple trees. I planted this back here against the purple trees because this is Primal Scream. Unfreaking believably orange, gorgeous. I love it for its vibrant color. It has a little bit of a spidery leaf, but the color is phenomenal against the purple trees. You know, you like that compliment, or against the purple cone flowers. It's just wonderful. This is Backdraft. Amazing, gorgeous. Franhan, I'd like it to come out a little further. We're early this morning. Yay, get out of the heat, but here we go. This is Heaven All Day. This is from the French Creek Daylily farm, and it blooms earlier. I wish it has, well, it has like at least 4 buds. It has a few more to go, but isn't that beautiful? That has that pink in the background.
You can barely see it.
You can barely see it, that blush color, which is phenomenal. So we talked about, you know, they grow well everywhere. The sun is good. The dark colored ones in this kind of heat, by the end of the day, I've noticed they fade a little bit. You know, if we were having, this is zone 6B here in West Virginia. And as everyone is saying, things have changed a little bit. The heat indexes have gone up. We seldom would have 100 degrees or 90 degrees until August. But that heat will kind of fade out the deep purple ones, but it still looks pretty. The other thing I mentioned, that you don't really have disease or pests. You see heat stress in the leaves, they turn yellow. But when you have deer, you know, then, which I have, I've got a great picture of the buck and the little girl with him. What really works, if you can get out and spray, is this. I have found this liquid fence works terrific if you get it sprayed, because the deer love the daylily buds, daylily blooms. They will eat them. They know when they're blooming. And if you aren't careful and if you haven't sprayed, they will come in and you'll wake up and most of your buds will be gone. So I sprayed as soon as I saw the deer in the yard, added a little protection. If they eat some, I'm okay with that, but just not all. The other thing they love are the hosta blooms and the hosta leaves. And I have just a buffet of food, a buffet of food for the deer in my backyard. And if they can give me, you know, if I can stay on top of that for another week or so, till they're bloom, they're welcome to come back in and nibble, because I just want all of my buds to get to bloom. It just makes me so happy. Before we go, the daylilies, I want to show you up at the water barrel some of my favorites, because your daylilies, you can buy them, you know, a lot of times at one time you can get them for $6, you know.
Who knows now?
But now they've
How long has it been since you bought a daylily?
Oh, since Judy had passed away and closed her daylily farm. And, you know, I've kind of run out of space unless I turn it just into a daylily field. But I'll show you.
When you go to the store, though, all you see is the stelladoras and You don't see a big variety
You don't see a
sometimes.
large variety, even at our garden centers, and not just, Lowe's or Home Depot, but we have a couple of garden centers that we've traveled to. And the daylilies are the it looks like the same ones that are easily reproduced. And so if you have a daylily farm in your location, go and you'll get sucked in. But when we go up to the top garden, I'll show you one of my more expensive ones that I bought. And then I'll tell you of a site that I found and a YouTube channel that I found of a company that has a catalog. You can buy from them. If I've encouraged you to want daylilies in your garden, it looks like a great site for you. So we'll get up to the water barrel. As I mentioned, when I was buying daylilies, and not that I'm not going to buy more, I could buy them for $6 at Judy Bean's, $7. And if you bought, no matter, I think if you bought 3, you got 1 free. And the last one I bought, 2 I bought from her. This is the most expensive one I ever bought, and isn't this gorgeous? This is called
Spiny sea
Spidey
urchin.
Sea Urchin. Thanks, Reg. Isn't that glorious? Spidey Sea Urchin. Loved it. I just fell in love with it. And then I bought this because Judy hybridized this one. It's called Karen Sue. Her sister had died of cancer, and she named this one after it. And, it gives me chills because Judy also passed away with cancer. And when you go to these gardens, the flowers, you can tell, are loved, and you get to know the owners and how much they love their daylilies and what they do to make things happen. We get addicted to this stuff, people. And so you don't know when to stop. But if I have encouraged you to want to find these kinds of beautiful flowers for your gardens, whether you have a small garden or large one, I found a site. It's called oaksdaylily.com. And Ken
Now,
Oaks,
oak like a tree?
Oakes, and I'm going to put
O
it
A K E
Oakes,
S. Oaks. Got it.
oaksdaylily.com. And Ken Oaks is a really good person to watch with his videos because it's generational. They've had it since I'm going to say the 1960s, and every member of the family has kept this daylily farm going. It's in Tennessee. I wouldn't mind taking a little trip down there. They just had a daylily weekend. But anyhow, look up oaksdaylily.com. They sell online. I've just ordered a catalog that's free catalog. And watch some of his videos of their farm and what they have. Plus, he's a wealth of knowledge if you have any questions about daylilies. But I needed to get out here, and I'm so glad I did. The sun's not too high, and everything's in bloom except a few, like Savannah Debutante, which whenever I do another video, I'll show you whenever she's in bloom. She's a late bloomer. But thanks for watching today, and I hope I've encouraged you to realize that there's more out there in daylilies than what you're finding in your local nurseries. Nothing against Deladora, but there are other varieties. So thanks for watching Gardening on the West Fork. In the Hemicoryllis, I never pronounce that right, daylily walk. Bye, guys.